about my opinion. Jacob Blake, first of all, Jacob Blake is a known domestic abuser. He's also, I've got it written down, he's also a known sex offender. Hello? Sex offender. Police have a history with this guy. They know that he has a history of concealing weapons. He has a history of being aggressive against police. They have met this dude before. Now, I don't know why they were there to begin with. I don't know what led to them pulling guns out on Jacob Blake, but here's what I do know. Jacob Blake walked with purpose. Jacob Blake walked with aggression. Jacob Blake walked with a very specific reason in mind to get to his vehicle and open up that door and reach inside. If you're trying to make this a race thing, you are a moron. Every single one of you is the problem with America. If a white dude would have done that, he'd have got shot too. Point blank. I ride with the police all the time, and 90% of the people that we deal with on a daily basis are white folks. We take more white people to jail than we do black people. It has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with color. It has everything to do with you make bad decisions and bad things happen. Plain and simple. When the police pull their guns on you, you've already messed up. There is already an escalation there that cannot be taken back down unless you comply. And if the officers were wrong, they will be prosecuted for it, for not doing their jobs the correct way. But if you think for 1 second that any officer, no matter what color you are, is going to allow you to disobey their orders, walk straight to their vehicle, reach into their vehicle for something, what was he going to do? What was he going to do? Reach in his, what? He was going to hand him a flower, going to try to give him money? What was he reaching in there for? What was he doing? Why was he going there? The cops have that much time to figure that out. That much time to make that decision. That much time to make a life or death decision between them and their family. And you're going to sit here, you stupid, overprivileged, multi-millionaire paid athletes, and you horrible Joe Biden and Kamala Harris talking about justice for Jacob Blake, etc. But you're silent when white babies are shot in the face on the street for no reason. Innocent babies. Jacob Blake is not an innocent man. Not saying he deserved to die. That's not what I'm saying at all. So calm down. But what I am saying is for you to completely and utterly overlook every single fact of the matter. You're an idiot. The man resisted arrest. The man did not comply. The man opened his door. The man reached down underneath his seat for something. Whether it turned out to be nothing or not is regardless. Intent was there. Concern was there. Knowledge of the aggressor was there. Whether you like it or not, it was a justified shooting, in my opinion. I am glad to hear that Jacob Blake is alive. I am glad to hear, and I hope that he continues to pull through, because I don't want anyone to lose their life in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But I also refuse to not stand with our men and women in blue. And people who do need to grow a backbone right now.
I'm sick to my stomach. Every day, we always got to wake up and look at another police-involved shooting. Now, I'm going to address that statement in a second. But Jacob Blake was shot 7 times yesterday in Kenosha, Wisconsin. They grabbed him by a shirt and even turned the gun sideways in front of his kids and in front of many other people that were in the community. This was a bold slap in the face to black people in America. And we got to step up and continue fighting, because we know they don't hear us. We protest. They don't hear us. Folks riot. They don't hear us. Folks loot. They don't hear us. When will they hear us? It makes no sense. Make that the topic of your stories instead of saying police involved shooting. That's some bull crap. Call it what it is. Either it's a murder or attempt murder. And I hope to God that Jacob Blake becomes one of the people that'll end up on this shirt and he's able to survive and tell his story. But it is disgusting how the media narrates when a police kills someone. But when these white people shoot up schools, they make it. They get Burger King. They make it to jail. When these white people shoot cops, you have weapons, they make it. They go in handcuffs. They go to jail. They never get killed. And it makes me sick to my stomach. I don't want to hear anybody ever tell me again that there are some good police. Tell all these police officers that black males aren't threats. That's what you need to be saying. We have to continue to fight, guys. This is the epidemic that we got in this country. And it is sickening. We got PTSD watching these videos every single day. When will they hear us? I'm tired. I am tired. And I know that you are. Justice for Jacob Blake. Let's rise up. It's time. Now is the time.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of people are very upset with this clip, and a lot of people are going to be marching and protesting and rioting over what happened in Wisconsin to this man. And I know a lot of people are very emotional about it, and a lot of people feel very sad about it. I as well am very sad about it too. Nobody deserves to be shot and killed in front of their wife and children. But with that being said, we have to look at the whole picture, right? So these police officers commanded that this man stop resisting and comply to their orders. He does not. He continues to walk into his car, and here's the thing with that. The police officers do not know what this man has in his car. He could be reaching for a gun. He could be reaching for, any kind of, lethal weapon, or, who knows, right? Now, if you're an officer and the person you are trying to arrest is not complying, he's going into his car, reaching for something that we don't know what it is, right? It only takes a split second. It only takes a split second for that man to grab a gun, turn around, and shoot the officers. And there's a lot of clips of situations where officers will not use deadly force. I see a lot of people saying that, oh, well, they could have tased him, they could have done this, they could have done that, non-lethal, could have used non-lethal force. But the problem is, there are plenty of clips you can find where a police officer will deploy a taser on the person they're trying to apprehend, and he will essentially fight back with lethal force. There was one that I saw the other day where a police officer deployed a taser, and the suspect, he was down, and he gets right back up with the machete and starts hacking at the police officer, like literally hacking at him. I don't know what the end result was. I don't know if the police officer is okay or not. I just saw the clip. And there's plenty of other clips you can find where, police officers don't use lethal force and they are, killed or injured, by some sort of lethal weapon as a result. So it's very important that people understand these types of situations are life or death for either party. And it only takes one split second, for something to result in death for an officer. So as an officer, when the suspect is not complying, he reaches into the car, that right there is a red flag. Okay, he could be reaching for a gun, and as an officer, you have literally a split second to make that call. Do I deploy lethal force or do I not? And those officers decided to deploy lethal force, I think justifiably, right? And a lot of people might disagree with that, but the thing is, it's a really hard call to make for an officer, right? I mean, you have to understand, they have wives and children at home too, you know what I mean? And if I was an officer, I'm not going to, essentially risk, me getting shot because, I decided not to, use lethal force. It's my life or his at that point, right? And a lot of people just aren't understanding that. And the worst part about it is what happened is going to result in rioting and looting and all sorts of social chaos. And, you look at the headlines from the media, it's totally skewed against the police. It's totally skewed against the officers in the situation, as it always is. And you can read the headlines for yourself, and, they always include the race. Black man was shot and killed by police in front of wife and children. It's not, man shot, non-compliant man shot by police, after, resisting. It's always skewed against the police. So you have to ask yourself, well, why is it always that the media skews this in the opposite direction, in favor of the suspect and against the police? And you have to ask, what is the agenda here? Because if you don't think the media has an agenda in 2020, then you need to really reevaluate a lot of the things that you think are true, because there's a clear agenda here. The agenda is anti-police. The agenda is total in favor of these lawless riots and protests, right? The media will always say they're peaceful protests, but we know that that is not true. There have been a handful of peaceful protests, but there's also been so much rioting, destruction, death, looting, utter lawlessness. And this will never end unless we put a stop to this agenda that the media pushes. And we need to support our police officers, and we have to look at the situations objectively and not emotionally. And that's my take on it.
For all the people trying to justify this cop, you need to shut the fuck up. It's their job to de-escalate the situation. They have training, even though it's only 8 weeks. There's no justification for shooting anybody who isn't pulling a gun or a knife on you, who isn't killing another civilian, who isn't hurting another civilian. These cops are trigger happy, and they need to be checked. That's why when the people found out, 50 cop cars got burnt to the ground. Burnt to the motherfucking ground. We ain't fucking playing, motherfuckers. You think George Floyd was the only thing that gave us a reason to fucking riot? That was just the last straw. Now you've gone past the last straw, motherfuckers. You fucking cops. You the fucking gangbangers. You're the ones that are killing people. Not us. There was plenty of time for you to put your gun in your motherfucking holster. But you didn't want to do that. Because you were waiting for the right time to pull that fucking trigger. Because you wanted to pull the trigger. You were waiting. And you got the moment. Only sad thing is that motherfucker's strong as fuck. And he survived. You wanted to pull the trigger. You wanted to kill that man. And you failed. You racist piece of shit failed at killing a black man. How does that fucking make you feel? You piece of shit. For any cops or any civilians that justify this, you need to shut the fuck up. Cops have training. Civilians do not. Cops are taught how to handle these situations. Civilians are not. And it don't matter how a civilian handles it, they end up dead if they are black. I'm a white male who has had a Glock in my motherfucking hand with cops pointing 16 rifles at me. And I'm fucking alive. Fuck you racist cops. And fuck all you civilians who support this or who justify what that fucking cop did. You can all burn in hell. Because hell is about to burn up this motherfucking racist system that you call enforcing the law. My name's Eric Stone. Peace.